Oh boy. Oh man. I guess it could have been worse, right? I guess we could say that. Yeah, we could say that. Real quick before I get to the video, 96% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you like boxing, MMA, or influencer boxing content, make sure you subscribe because I post 3 to 4 times a week on this channel. So this is where you should be at. Okay, so Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson just finished, and even though the main event was disappointing, Mike's age really showed in this fight, but the undercard actually was very good. So let's go through the undercard and then I'll get to the main event. All right, so the first thing on the undercard that I'm going to talk about is Whindersson Nunes versus Goyat. Honestly, I could probably talk about this whole card, but I'm going to have to skip a few. It is 1 a.m. here. So yeah. So Goya overall dominated this fight. He had good movement. He had good head movement. He had good combination punching. He was very showboat heavy, but he was clearly way more experienced than Whindersson Nunes. Whindersson Nunes isn't the best, but he is still fairly new, and he always takes big challenges, so I respect him. But yeah, Goya was slick, but he did some weird things. Like there was one point where he did some things to Whindersson Nunes in the corner. I don't want to get demonetized, so I'm not going to say it. Whoa! He just humped him in the corner. What the fuck? Bro, if you're gonna show off, at least throw more punches, dude. And that's gonna be unfortunately my only reaction from the card because my internet was shit. And I guess Netflix was having some problems anyway, so I was getting a mix of both. So Netflix on my TV wasn't working, so I had to watch everything on my phone. So I only got my reaction to that out of all things. So yeah, Goya looked pretty good, but not like incredible. Like I need to see him against higher level competition. Suppose he wants to fight Jake Paul. He's not a big dude, and Jake just fought Mike Tyson at heavyweight, so I don't know how that fight would make sense at all. I know that they like were sparring partners, so I don't know, dude. I guess like Jake doesn't really have a place to go besides Tommy Fury KSI after this fight, so I guess that could be something. I guess. So Goyat seems like a showman. This is the first time I actually seen him fight live. We'll see how his skills match up against a better boxer. But for now, I don't really know how to feel about him, to be honest. Let's get to the next fight. All right, so the next fight that I thought was worth mentioning is Barrios versus Ramos. This is the first fight where I was really struggling with my internet and Netflix acting up. So I missed a chunk of it, but from what I saw, it was an absolute war from everything I watched. So early on in the fight, Barrios dropped Ramos with a big left hook, which hurt him right off the bat. But he did pretty well to recover fast, and they went right back to going to war. They both were landing very powerful shots, exchanging. It was a very close fight. Then Barrios dropped Ramos with an even harder shot, which sent him down. And then he recovered well. And then they went right back at it again. This fight had this card had absolute wars on it, dude. So yeah, Ramos ends up getting the win, but that is one of many wars that happened tonight. I wish I could talk about all of them, but like I said, it is 1 a.m. I'm not doing all that. So let's talk about the next war. Now, I've made jokes in the past about female fighting. I'm not even joking. I'm not glazing. You could call it glazing all you want. I think that's one of the best fights I've ever seen in general. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. Oh my goodness, dude. Both their fights have been absolute bangers. This one was probably even better. They just were in the phone booth trading. Katie Taylor was clinching a lot and headbutting, which really fucked things up with the fight, which gave Amanda Serrano a really, really nasty cut at one point, which she kept doing, by the way. It was like 3 separate occasions where the ref had to separate them because she blatantly like went like this. And there were commentary was arguing some of them, but I don't know, dude. Some of those headbutts were brutal, and like that cut was gross. Like I'm bad with that stuff. I know I watched fighting get over it, but dude, it was nasty. But dude, Amanda Serrano is a warrior. Like, she didn't give two fucks. She wanted to keep fighting. They were just swinging in the booth. Dude, they were both clipping each other clean on the chin. Didn't give a fuck. Stepped right back in the ring, swinging. Katie Taylor, if there was, like, obviously clinching happens in boxing. Katie Taylor was the only one clinching, though. If there was no clinching, that would be, like, the perfect fight. Like, they were actually just scrapping in there, man. Absolutely. There was some technical boxing, more so from Amanda Serrano. But, dude, man, what an absolute war. One of the best boxing fights I've ever seen, and probably one of the best fights I've ever seen in general. Two absolute warriors. It was a robbery. Let's get that out of the way. I definitely think Amanda Serrano won. The punch that say it, I feel like she done way more. There was more positive exchanges for Amanda Serrano. Maybe the judges couldn't tell that the headbutts caused the cut, and they thought it was like a damage based thing. And Katie Taylor got a point reducted for the headbutt, so I really don't know how she got the decision, but I think they should run it back again regardless, dude. Because every single fight that they had has been a classic. So run it back. So yeah, Katie Taylor gets the W. I don't agree with it, but she's still a good fighter. Now, unfortunately, let's get to the main event. So yeah, this fight was disappointing. Mike's legs were not there, man. They were just not there. I don't know why the fuck they made him walk all that way. I'm sure that somewhat played into it. It had to have, dude. There was a long walk to the ring. In the first two rounds, his legs were decent. Even like the commentators in the first two rounds were saying his legs were a bit wobbly at first, which, yeah, he's 58. Shouldn't have been fighting, but for the most part, he had good forward pressure. He clipped Jake a couple times, and Jake was just doing his distance to be on his bike and wear Mike out, which wasn't very hard. By midway round two, his legs were gone, and Mike was defensively very good still, and there was some shots that Mike took that were hard, and he took them right on the chin, took it right on the temple, and he showed he could take a punch. That was one thing I was worried about. He didn't get knocked out, he didn't get hurt, so that's one positive we could take from this. But yeah, Jake just kept circling away from Mike, hitting him with decent shots. He definitely was trying to hurt him a couple times, where he really stepped into a straight right hand. He shot his overhand over. He caught Mike with a left hook a couple times, but Mike took him. And as the fight went on, I think Jake realized that Mike was really not there, like with his legs and everything. He just wasn't really trying to kill him, especially like round 7 and 8, like especially 8, because he definitely could have got Mike out of there. He just didn't seem like he knew it wouldn't have been a good look, to be honest. I think he realized it. He probably expected a slight bit more from Mike, but once Mike's legs were tired, dude, he just couldn't even really lunge in and throw in any punches. It was getting kind of ugly at the end of that fight. But overall, Jake kind of came out of this a lot better than he could have if he like killed Mike Tyson in there or knocked him out. Like in the final seconds, he even gave him a show of respect. He gave him a bow, which is cool. I think it was cool of him to do. People are going to be online saying that this was going to be a spar, but I really think there was times where Jake really tried to hurt Mike bad in that fight, but Mike just took the punches. And once Jake saw that there wasn't really competition in front of him because Mike was gassing out, he didn't really take it out on him anymore like he was earlier in the fight. And he could have applied more pressure, and he didn't. So I respect Jake for that, for real, but maybe it was a sparring match at the end, but it was not the initial plans. I can promise you that. So yeah, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Not as bad as it could have been, and also not as good as it could have been. Not a great main event, but a very good undercard. So that is worth mentioning. I wish I had more time or energy to cover the whole thing because I feel like it is worth it. But I'm sure there is a video on YouTube of somebody doing that because some people got crazy sleep schedules. I used to be able to stay up in these hours, but I fixed it. So I'm struggling right now. So overall, yeah, this fight shouldn't have happened, but let me know what you guys thought of the overall event in the comments down below. Let me know what your favorite fight was. Mine was probably the Amanda Serrano fight. Let me know what you guys think could be next for Jake Paul, what could be next for Amanda Serrano, and all of the other fighters on the card. And that's all I gotta say. That was supposed to be the biggest event in boxing history. Probably pulled some crazy numbers. I hope a lot of people got introduced to boxing in this because, like I said, I'm gonna say a million times, the undercard was really good. So if people were watching undercard up to it that don't really like boxing, I think they got some new fans. But a lot of people are not about to be happy online. I haven't even seen it yet. People are about to be pissed about this fight. I already know. Make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video. Thank you guys for listening to me. Yeah, but usual, I'm going to bed. Peace out.